time to get in the huddle with your host, Charles Brodge Ritchie, here on the Mass Steel Podcast.
This thing belongs to Mr. Rooney, belongs here, and let's see if we can bring this damn thing back here next year, along with the Super Bowl. Here we go.
The game is over. The Pittsburgh Steelers did it the hard way.
With the 10th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Devin Bush, linebacker.
And welcome back, everybody. To this edition here on the Mass Steel Podcast with your host of the most, Charles Brodge Ritchie. As we have returned here, just want to apologize for my absence last week. Just been dealing with a little bit of a cold, just barely recovering. But interesting week to say the least. I just want to say once again a big shout out and pleasure to Chris Mack Sorley joined me last Wednesday a week ago at this point in time, as he is a co-host of the Fan Morning Show on 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. You catch them every Monday through Friday, I want to say from 6:40 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. They are on Pittsburgh at that point in time. It was a great pleasure to talk to them. Make sure to tune in this Friday as they'll be having their 10-year anniversary show. Well, it'll be officially 10-year anniversary on February 15th, but on February 14th, they'll be having commercial-free content, I want to say from 7 to 4 a.m., and then 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. They'll be having not commercial-free shows and much more stuff paying tribute to their shows pretty much. As you can check them out, definitely have been booming the last few years. And right now, I just want to cover some ground tonight real quickly as we're in the offseason right now. Of course, we got a lot to get into. Had Ed Bouchette making interesting some notes here as the Steelers try to get prepared for the draft, which will be coming this year, which will be in the 2020 draft, which will begin on Thursday, April 23rd, and ending on Saturday, April 25th. It'll be the 85th annual draft that will be hosted in Las Vegas. One of the bigger questions that seems to be in that too right now, going into that, is Joe Burrow right now. Joe Burrow is a guy who has expressed many times his hesitation about wanting to play for the Cincinnati Bengals. Will he get his wish? Will the Bengals draft him? Will he demand a trade? We'll find out more and stuff like that. I got the number to hit up tonight. Again, as always, is 312-209-2232. Again, that number is 312-209-2232. You can follow me on Twitter at Prodigy Ritchie. You can also follow me as well on Twitter, Men of Steel CJR. And then, of course, on Instagram, Men of Steel Nation, and my YouTube channel, Men of Steel Podcast. And real quickly, I just want to get into this real quickly. And I got to say this, but I'm sure people caught wind of the Antonio Brown interview. And ironically, this was like the day after me and Chris Mack Sorley talked. It was that Thursday morning. Antonio Brown was a guest on their show on the phone. He called to open up his stance on how everything went down. And it's very interesting to hear him saying right now, after a guy who just got released on bail and along with the Steelers, I just feel like I find it very interesting right now how he wants to dish a lot of blame on people focusing on a lot of individual achievements. And I just feel like that was just totally uncalled for, totally out of line. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, at the end of the day, too, I mean, when you really think about this guy, I mean, listen, I'm going to take it this way. When I heard that interview and the stuff that he was saying, the problem I have with Antonio Brown right now is that he is still Antonio Brown. AB is still in AB. He's still stuck in AB mode, which is where I get a little bit turned off at this. And to be honest with you, too, I mean, let's really think about it. I mean, you're looking for a guy to be a little bit sincere, I mean, a little bit more humbled, but he still insists, like in social media, which I understand is that it's still his business. It's something he's got to continue promoting. But I don't think he seems to understand like what kind of mixed messages he's putting out there for people to follow. I just feel right now, I mean, if anyone decides who wants to have him back in a Steeler uniform, I'm one of the people, I'm against it, to be honest with you, at this point. It's kind of hard to trust at this time. I don't know if I want this guy back in the team or in the locker room. And you know what? The thing that little nerves me a little bit, though, he finally sends out a post that he does to Ben Roethlisberger. He puts like on social media, and I want to say it was Instagram when we look at it. And I mean, I found this out like earlier in the day. I mean, when we take a look at it, it was by another post. And let's see if I can pull it up here real quickly. And I'm going to pull it up right now. And as he apologized on social media, he put up on Instagram and it says, "Mostly you, a little bit of me, yee. I never realized how good I had it, caught up in my emotion with everyone coming after me. I really apologize for my actions. Sincerely, man. It's never been a connection like we've done in the past decade. I appreciate it. Sincerely, AB." Here's the bottom line problem I have with that, and we'll get to Steelers talk in just a moment here. But what I don't like about this, let me tell you something. I understand we're in a new world of social media, and we're in a new age the way people want to get stuff out there. I see a lot of people tweet and stuff or put stuff on Instagram. But let me tell you this. If you really want to come off as sincere, I'm sure they blocked each other on social media. They probably lost their phone numbers or their contacts somehow. I wouldn't be surprised. But this is what you do. You can take a look at your call history, or you can do some back channeling, reach out to some former friends, ex-teammates, or even their agents. Get their phone numbers. You either call each other, text, FaceTime each other, or meet one-on-one. If it's none of those, I'm sorry, it's not sincere. I'm not buying it. Ben Roethlisberger was accountable in this, and you can't. It comes across a little bit phony in my opinion, in my estimation. I'm not with that. I think what you gotta look at right now is what we gotta do. Like I said, yeah, you gotta show a little bit more, like I said, humility and a little bit more humbleness. I don't feel like Antonio Brown is doing enough of that when we look at it. I think Antonio Brown, I mean, he realizes that he needs football back in his life some way or another. So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking about this. I don't want to annoy anyone. If any of you guys are tuning in right now to the Men of Steel podcast, I want to apologize to you, the Steeler Nation group, and any other groups that are watching this. I apologize if I came across a little bit negative rant or anything. So I just want to clear that in the air right now. But I had to get that off my chest because that was a big one, individual and topic. Later on, people, like it or not, Steelers fans or people around the league or in the NFL, more particularly in Pittsburgh, are going to hear, was with Antonio Brown and how to break up the Killer Bees. But now let's go back on the business right now. Again, if you guys want, feel free to call in. The number to be reached is 312-209-2232. Again, that number to be reached is 209-2232. You can follow me on Twitter at Praj Richie, Instagram, Man of Steel Nation, my YouTube channel, Man of Steel Podcast, my other Twitter account at Man of Steel CJR. That's my business account for the Man of Steel Podcast. You can be hearing me tweeting out all my podcasts for the Man of Steel Podcast show. In case you guys miss it, I put up on Mixcloud. You can follow me on Mixcloud. If you guys want, I'm going to give you that information right now as we take a look and we get ready to move a little bit forward. My Mixcloud account, give me 1 second here as we all look at it. For that going on, if you guys ever want to follow me on Mixcloud, my Mixcloud account is Charles John Ritchie. You can follow me that way. That's Charles John Ritchie. I do a lot of my podcasts right there from my show that you hear me on deck on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com, a.k.a. CSR. And then, of course, my Man of Steel Podcast. You guys see me tune in on Mondays and Wednesdays. Like I said, I've just been dealing a little bit with a cold. I know my voice sounds a little garbage right now, but please excuse me. Just bear with me. Glad to be back in action this week as we are pretty much a week away, a week and a half removed from the finale of the 100 season of the NFL in the Super Bowl. It's still the 100 season going on right now. But let's get in some other notes right now as we look at Ed Bouchette of the Pittsburgh Athletic. He can be followed on Twitter at Ed Bouchette, at The Athletic PGH. That's their Twitter page right there. And here's some interesting names that Ed Bouchette feels like the Steelers should be focusing on when it comes to the draft. Because let's remind people of the Steelers draft order right now. Remember, they traded their first-round pick. And, of course, right now to the Miami Dolphins to get Minkah Fitzpatrick. And so the Dolphins are going to have the Steelers' 18th pick in the draft. But the Steelers' very first pick in the draft will be in the second round at 49th. And then their next pick, which will be in the third round, which is which was traded to Denver. And then they got 99th from Miami. So excuse me. So it's the second round, which is 49th overall. Then you got the 40. Then you got the fourth round, 99th overall, as well as the 114th pick in the fourth round. And then you got your fifth and 2 seventh-round picks. The fifth round will be the 137th overall, and the 2 seventh-round picks will be at number 210. And that's about it. And then you got one more seventh-round pick. I don't got the exact number on that. But, again, the Steelers are going into this year's draft. They'll be having 4 draft picks. It'd be interesting to see if they decide to trade up and see if they could probably get some leverage and maybe sneak back in, maybe try and get a first-round pick back somehow or another. We'll see. But I definitely feel right now when you look at it, I think with the very interesting news, too, with Art Rooney keeping his foot playing firm along with Kevin Colbert and everybody, is that they're not going to move on from any of the quarterbacks they got. They feel very confident in the group that they got moving forward. And, of course, being behind Roethlisberger, depending how his elbow recovery is doing. Remember, he's supposed to be seeing a doctor, I think, in the next week or two. And hopefully he should be start getting some throwing sessions. And he's hoping to, doing some, tennis ball throwing sessions. And he's supposed to be seeing a specialist out in California. That was according to Ron Cook of the Cook and Joe Show. He mentioned that out there on 93.7, the Cook and Joe Show. You hear them weekly. And I want to say that's a 3-hour show from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, if I'm not mistaken. That's on 93.7 The Fan, so make sure to check them out. But, yeah, I just feel like right now, because let's just be honest, Ben Roethlisberger, his elbow injury right now, I mean, depending on how it is, I'm not going to lie to you, it's not an easy thing to see someone recover. I know you had guys from, Good Morning Football, like Nick Burleson, and, of course, Peter Schrager, who definitely feels confident because you see, also a lot of older quarterbacks, too, like such as one in recent memory too as well. You got Aaron Rodgers who had the clavicle, who actually got hurt by Anthony Barr, the Minnesota Vikings. I'm just not so sure right now if you can bank on the fact that right now, when you look at it, that his history's on his side. Remember, this is a guy who this year, Ben Roethlisberger, who will be turning 38 years old in March 2nd. I'm not too sure how that's going to sit well, because you also got to remember too, when Joe Montana had his turf elbow injury. Remember, when he had that, he was 35 years old. Let's not forget. And remember, he also had a pair of back injuries too along the way, courtesy of the New York Giants. I know I heard a lot of people also mention before that they compare this to Bradshaw's injury towards the end of his career, and how it has a little bit of a similarity. I'm not so certain about that, but like I said, I think it just gets a little you'd be treading water a lot right now when you're a 38-year-old quarterback and get high pain like this as you get older in your career. I'm just not so sure what people are hoping for. Don't get me wrong. I think the only thing, I always caution people with Ben Roethlisberger, it's one thing to recover from this injury and get back to the way you're playing before, and you got the talent right here. You got the plays of guys like Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster. And of course, the running game has still got a lot more work in progress that you need to pay attention a lot more to. But again, the bottom line at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone says, Ben Roethlisberger, can we trust the fact that he's not going to be having any more turnovers in the red zone? I think that is so significantly huge. You cannot overlook that and think, because I'll be honest, if he does come back, what's going to be the game plan for the offense? What kind of style of offense are they going to want to run? Are they going to still entrust it in Ben's hands? If he wants to go ahead and throw it, to go ahead and give that respectability he deserves. I'm just not so sure about that. I just feel you got to be a little bit more careful when you look at it and the way they've been playing small ball on this offense. You got a lot more guys who could definitely pitch in and help each other. I'm just saying, don't bank on the fact that, you can't teach an old dog to do tricks. He is going to be who he is at the end of the day. But let's get into some of these picks the Steelers should be focusing on this year. So with their second round pick, 49th overall, one of the first guys right now, because remember, which is also going to be interesting too, is if Bud Dupree accepts the franchise tag right now, the Steelers can't come to a long-term agreement. Remember, according to Joe Ruther of Trib Live, he followed Joe Ruther. Follow him right now as we take a look at it. Let's see. Sorry, guys. It's just thanks for bearing with me here as we look a lot more at it. That's at Trib Joe Ruther. He's a reporter for Trib Live and Trib Sports, covering the Steelers since mid-2016. The franchise tag for Bud Dupree is to be worth $16.266 million. And let's also remind people, too, the market value, when we look at a guy like Bud Dupree, who's going to be wanting to command a decent amount of money, who had one of the second most sacks on the team behind TJ Watt. You got to really look at it right now. Who are the guys that are going to be willing to move on as we look at it? And his market value, remember, for Bud Dupree is going to be $16.6 million a year, which is be 5 years for $83.03 million. That's going to be his market value going into 2020, according to Spotrac. So I'd like to hear what you guys had to think on that. So will the Steelers then possibly go on defense once again? Will they go outside linebacker? Remember, the last offensive skill player they had in the draft was Rashard Mendenhall back in 2008, who was a Super Bowl champion. He was backing up Willie Parker at the time. But let's look at some of the options they got right here, according to Ed Bouchette of The Athletic. Let's start off with number one, Jonathan Taylor, running back, who played 3 seasons at Wisconsin, averaging 6.7 yards per carry. One of the things that Ed Bouchette did question about him was his receiving ability, because right now when you look at like today's offense in the NFL, it's not so much about running on the ground, but it's also that multi-dynamic threat of also catching and your scrimmage yards. And not so much your all-purpose yards, but the scrimmage yards mainly. How much can you be able to catch the ball in the backfield? Can you be an extra threat on the offense with the set of receivers? And how much of your ability to block? Because he's caught 26 passes in his 3 seasons with University of Wisconsin Badgers. 26 passes. He caught for 252 yards and 5 touchdowns last season. And another knock against him, too, is how he loses the football. He fumbled 8 times in 41 career games. 15 of them lost, but he fumbled 5 times last season. The only good thing is that he has rushed for 6,174 yards in 3 seasons, which I think is pretty remarkable when you look at this guy. And I think you got to look at that right here. I mean, with this guy, when you look at a guy like Jonathan Taylor, I mean, because let's face it, I mean, it's still life without Bell. And I guess you could also say Brown, the end of the Killer Bee era, pretty much. But, I mean, a guy like Jonathan Taylor was looking to make a splash in the draft. Not sure if he'll be able to drop to them, but his average yards per game is 6.7 yards and 6,174 yards in 3 seasons. Pretty remarkable. And then you look at his scrimmage yards too. In like his college career, his overall 3 seasons is 968 plays for 6,581 yards, 6.8 yards for average, and 55 touchdowns. He had a career high of 346 plays, 2,255 yards, 6.5 yard average, and 26 touchdown. Was also included a career high in receptions, 26 yards for 252 yards that we just mentioned a moment ago. So what's your guys' thoughts on John Taylor? Do you think this is someone that the Steelers will decide to draft early here? And what will they do right here? I mean, the good thing about this year's draft, I mean, you got the assurance knowing that Kevin Colbert will be sticking around this year as they came to 1-year extensions. That was announced last week about this time. So I got to tell you, that was one big what-if because his contract was set to expire after this year's draft. Instead, it will be expiring after the 2021 NFL draft. I think that is some huge, encouraging, exciting news. I mean, when you try and move things on in the direction of this team, I mean, knowing that you still got some stability in the franchise is definitely reassuring. And you want to give a lot of comfort that you're still going to find a way to keep this train rolling. And I'd be really interested to see how it comes. This will be Kevin Colbert's 21st season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, man, that'd be pretty awesome if he's able to pull it off. But I tell you what, I mean, right now, when you look at it, it's been a remarkable career here when you look at it. I mean, Dick Haley, who's been there with the Steelers, he's only been there for 20 years. So Kevin Colbert has outlasted Dick Haley, one of the original architects too, behind guys like Dan Rooney and everyone. I mean, he spent there for 20 seasons with, of course, 4 Super Bowls in there. A huge architect and contributor to that Steel Curtain dynasty in the 70s under Chuck Noll and everyone, and did a lot. Even though the 80s, they did fall apart, where they only had 4 more playoff appearances, 3 straight from 1982, from 1984, and in 1989. Also, we got another guy on the list right here, too, as we take a look at it. Here's another one we got, is Jonathan Greenard. Jonathan Grenard, outside linebacker of Louisville. He's a Louisville native. Began his college career at Louisville and had 9.5 sacks in 2 seasons. The only concern that came up, he had a wrist injury in the first game of 2018 that cost him that season. He joined Florida as a graduate transfer. He became pretty more dominant with the Gators. He accumulated 10 sacks, 15.5 tackles for losses, 3 forced fumbles, and an interception, and step in for an injury. Now, here's the only catch. I mean, if you want to play devil's advocate with a guy like with Jonathan Grenard, remember, let's just say if the Steelers do tag a guy like Bud Dupree, and this is Ed Bouchette's mindset too, you got to figure like this. You got to look at it this way. If Dupree does take the tag and they can't come to like a long-term extension, will the Steelers try and tag Dupree again next year, even though they picked up his 5th-year option, where he may look around over $9 million this past year? But then again, I mean, what do you do? I mean, for a guy, like I said, when you look at it, I mean, like a guy in Bud Dupree who just earned over $9.23 million in 2019, he gets tagged second time. How much would that tag be worth? The thing you got to look at is this way, too. You want to be able to keep someone in the background, someone you can develop in case things don't work out long-term with Bud Dupree. Remember, Bud Dupree definitely has a share of critics, I mean, since playing as a Steeler, as we look at it. And right now, as we look at it, I just feel like you always want to have a plan for someone going forward, and just have some sort of rotation for in the future. You always want to get some sort of insurance policy developed, if you ask me. I think it's always a smart way to go. You don't ever want to turn a blind eye and think you got everything all figured out and just, something exposed right in front of your face. You got to be a lot more prepared. You got to be a lot more savvy in this situation. They always find a way, the Steelers do. I just think you just can't be foolish and you can't overlook death. I just don't feel like, Kevin Colbert and them are willing to do that. I think they're smart enough to realize that, you never, ever allow one player or individual, like I said, ahead of the franchise, as we learned in the past, where it be star athletes that they develop or anything else in general with that. Here's another guy, though, for out there, too, as we look at wide receiver T. Higgins. And you also here's a big predicament you got to look at, too. Juju Smith-Schuster, remember, he's got one more season under his rookie contract. Juju Smith-Schuster, as everyone is aware, he was not a first-round pick. That was T.J. Watt back in 2017. Juju Smith-Schuster got drafted in the second round, 62nd overall in the 2017 NFL Draft. And he had career highs while playing alongside Antonio Brown, to his credit, like the guy or not. I mean, he has career high in 2018 where he caught 1,426 yards off of 111 receptions, 12.8 yards per reception, 7 touchdowns. And he also, for that year, that was about it. But, yeah. I mean, this is one guy you may have to take a look at, T. Higgins, right now. Position has potential, but it's one that can use a pure deep threat, and Higgins is that. He averaged 90.8 yards on his 59 receptions for Clemson last season with 13 touchdowns. He's the kind of tall receiver that Ben Roethlisberger loves. Very interesting right here. And I just want to take a look and take a quick pause real quick, take a look at some comments. Got Ham Skillet. Thank you very much for joining the Men of Steel podcast, my friend. Glad to have you on. As always, definitely love having you on here from time to time. Bring AB back. All right, made my stance clear. I'm going to tell you right now, I think if anyone wants to have Antonio Brown back, be ready to get what you pay for, I guess. No offense. I'm not sure if I want the luggage to come back with it. I can't trust the guy right now. I mean, like I said, if you want to be sincere, I mean, with the Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger, and the organization, there's always a proper way to handle things. You either call someone, you text them, and if you guys lost each other's phone numbers off your contacts, reach out to their family. I mean, well, family's definitely having a lot of issues, but try and find out, like, for former teammates, friends, his agent, if you can, or Ben's agent. You try and do those things. You try and call, you try and text, or you even try and FaceTime each other, do a video chat together, or you meet one-on-one. If none of those things happen, all these cryptic posts on Twitter, on Instagram, it's not sincere. I'm sorry. I understand he wants to try and run a business. He's got to market himself. But bottom line, it comes across as phony, in my opinion. That's not the way you do things. It's an old school mentality I will always stick by. And I just do not agree with anyone want to think you could just get back in someone's good graces just like that. It takes a hell of a lot more to do when you look at it. That's all. I just feel like you got to earn your stripes. You got to really, truly make sure he gets back. And if he does get back, how soon will the league clear him? Remember, I mean, their investigation, I mean, is still upheld, according to Antonio Brown. He hasn't heard any clearing from them. I mean, you just cannot think that, everything's going to just be so subtle just like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, our team still wins them, of course. I mean, they realize how good of a talent he is. But at the end of the day, can he get his emotions right? Can he stay focused on pure football? That's the thing. I mean, unfortunately, he's going to be like another Terrell Owens in his career if he continues to keep pointing out a lot of obscenities or stuff that's supposed to be private versus online or tweeting. It's a hard discussion you got to have with him at the end of the day. You got to see where his head's at. Here's another guy, too, aside from T. Higgins, as we look at it, according to Ed Bouchette, we got Prince Tega Wadagu. And he is an offensive tackle from Auburn, a Nigerian native who moved to the U.S. when he was 16. Has looks of a future left tackle. He'll need a little bit more to smooth out the rough edges of not having played the sport long. I mean, according to Bouchette, he has a skill set to be a starting left tackle, and that'll make a perfect draft pick for the Steelers. He can polish his game while playing behind Villanueva for a year or two. Maybe become the swing tackle in the second season. By his third year, he could be ready to step in at left tackle. And one of the good notes about him, too, is he is agile with quick feet and a long reach. His lateral movement is good, and he can block for the run. He's excellent with he's tough with an excellent attitude for the game discovered in high school. And I gotta tell you right now, too. I mean, if you're getting ready to stick by guys, let's just say if Ben's elbow is not the same, he has missed significant time once again. I mean, where it extends past the draft, in the training camp, throughout the offseason. I mean, for the preseason, and then the regular season. If he is not healthy, you got to continue to keep these young quarterbacks that you're willing to roll the dice on with guys like Mason Rudolph, Devlin Hodges, Paxton Lynch, with some insurance policy. Having a good offensive line, like I said, is like having good auto insurance. You want to be better protected, as they usually say from Allstate, if I could steal a quote there, from mayhem like me. No, but really think about that. I think that was very significant, real quick. Also, too, real quickly, I just want to get your thoughts in relation to Miles Garrett before we go a little bit further. Speaking of the offensive line, I want to hear what you guys thought about the NFL finally reinstating Miles Garrett. As everyone remembers, an infamous Thursday night situation where him and Mason Rudolph got into a scuffle, and Mason Rudolph got thrown to the ground, and he was grabbing at Garrett's helmet to try and get him off him. He ends up yanking off Rudolph's helmet instead. You have his lineman, Rudolph's lineman, come in there and try and pull them apart and try and separate them. When you got like about 2 linemen in there with Rudolph's helmet in his hand, he swings at Rudolph's head. Remember, he was suspended for the rest of the season. And right now, with the hit that took place on November 14th in that Thursday night game, and when we looked at it, because remember, he did initially accuse Garrett accused Rudolph of inciting him with a racial slur, which Rudolph denied. And right now, he's not going to miss any time into the 2020 NFL season. He's not going to be suspended for any games. He's pretty much reinstated and is going to be back with his team, the Browns. And this is a statement from Browns general manager and GM Andrew Berry. We welcome Miles back to our organization with open arms. We know he is grateful to be reinstated, eager to put the past behind him and continue to evolve and grow as a leader. We look forward to having his strong, positive presence back as a teammate, player, and person in our community. Real quickly, what's your thoughts on that? What do you guys feel about Miles Garrett? Do you feel like the punishment, do you feel like he served his time enough? Do you think he got off a little bit too easily? What do you guys feel? What's your thoughts on this? Are you a little ticked off right now that he is able to come back so easily? Yeah, he missed the rest of the end of the regular season of 2019, but he's pretty much clear to come back in the 2020 season. I know I'm not sure about you guys, but I think that was very interesting right there. But then again, I mean, a guy like Miles Garrett, I do believe he is a sincere dude. I do believe he stands for people in the community. What he did was egregious. But I don't know about you. I think that's going to definitely be an interesting, touchy topic of conversation, to say the least, coming up. Now let's get ready to wrap this up real quick. We also got, last but not least, here on the picks, according to Abouchette, the Steelers looking at tight end as well, too, Cole Kmet. As Steelers value most of their tight ends. You haven't had a tight end since Heath Miller retired about 4 years ago. Kmet caught 43 passes for 515 yards and 6 touchdowns last season. And the Steelers will refine his block game that showed some skill for the Irish of Notre Dame. And there you go. So just to recap, the players that Abouchette is mentioning for the draft, you got Jonathan Taylor, running back of Wisconsin Badgers. Then he's got number 2. He has also got Jonathan Grenard of Louisville, outside linebacker. Then you got T. Higgins, wide receiver of Clemson. And then you also got offensive tackle Prince Tega Wanaghu, who's got the looks of an offensive tackle. And then you also got right now, last but not least, Cole Kmet, tight end from Notre Dame. Again, feel free to tweet me your thoughts. I can be followed again on Twitter at PrideRichie, at MenSteel CJR, Instagram, Men of Steel Nation, of course, my YouTube channel, Men of Steel Podcast. And then you can also, like I said, check out my YouTube channel, Men of Steel Podcast. And also, too, I want to, just before I get out of here real quickly, I'll just pay a quick congratulations shout out to Cam Hayward, Mike Tomlin, Bill Hillgrove, and the Pitt women's volleyball team, who was honored at the 84th Dapper Dan Awards, as Cam Hayward, who was honored at the at the Dapper Dan Awards, he got the 2019 Sportsman of the Year award. And quote from Cam Hayward, I'm receiving the award. When I look back at when I got drafted, we're in my basement, my family was all there, my agent included, as he said in his acceptance speech. And I think back that night was crazy. I'm waiting around seeing who was going to call. We never thought Pittsburgh was going to call. And it's funny how it happens. I think my dad had a lot of work upstairs going on, getting this all done. But that moment will always live with me. Seeing 412 come across the screen, know that my family were there and the Steelers were on the other side of the phone call. That means a lot to me. I'm just very honored to be up here. And of course, Billy Hillgrove, who I had the pleasure to talk about last May in 2019, right after Mother's Day weekend, he got the Lifetime Achievement Award, as he did for over 50 years of play-by-play, an honor well-deserved. He began his career calling play-by-play for Pitt basketball games in 1969. He then added Pitt football to his repertoire in 1974 before his foray into the Steelers booth in 1994, replacing, of course, the late Jack Fleming, who passed away, I believe, in 2001, who was the original radio play-by-play announcer, along also another late Steeler legend, Myron Cope. A terrible towel. Get ready to strike. Those men right there. So congratulations, Billy Hillgrove. I'll definitely message you later on when I get some time. An hour well-deserved. Love hearing you. You do a lot of passion. You truly love what you do, and it was a pleasure talking. I hope we can talk again soon. And then, of course, last but not least, for Mike Tomlin, too. Mike Tomlin, who also got honored at the Dapper Dan Awards for the Freddie Few Sports Leadership Award that's presented to Mike Tomlin. As remember, he got the Sportsman of the Year, I believe, in 2008 after the Steelers won the Super Bowl. So a lot of stuff to be proud of. And that's going to do it for this edition of the Men of Steel podcast. And I'll be looking to return back in action once again as scheduled as program throughout the offseason. Try and keep you in tune with more notes and stuff that we learn as we get closer to the NFL Combine, free agency, and trade as we get closer to the new league year, which will be around March. I want to say that is like, let's see, I want to say it's March 18th for the NFL. So I'm confirming that for them. But, yeah, that will begin on March 18th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Chicago. And then, of course, for the Pacific Coast, that will be 1 p.m. Pacific Time in the West Coast. So again, thank you guys for joining in. For me, Charles Bryant, Richie, and the Men of Steel podcast signing off. Make sure you can also catch me on Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on deck on CSR, as we got a lot more good stuff going on. As always, leave it. Don't be trolling. Be rolling. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. I gone.